Hello and welcome back to my show. If you haven't been here already, I'm Duncan and this is Ride It Out, channel all to do with motorcycles, but so far I'm only starting out, so we're doing it on a Sinnis Apache. Now, I did say in my last video that I'd take it out off-road and stuff, but the only issue with it is the weather's been pretty crap. Downside to that is when I have my camera on me, it ends up being a little bit like this, a little bit like that, and I personally would rather give you some good quality video. I'd rather quality over quantity, if that makes sense. So instead, what I'm going to do is go over the mods that I did on this just to prep it to be off-road. So yeah, without further ado, let's start going with it. One of the first things that I actually did with the bike when I first bought it was give it a damn good service. I changed the air filter, but you can actually put that in the wash. Changed the oil, I even changed the clutch, oil filter, and basically gave it a good general tidy up, double check my fluids front and back for my brakes, and yeah, so all of that kind of definitely needed to be done. That was before I even decided I wanted to actually get all off-road build, so to speak. Then after that, well, I started looking online for tyres, and it turns out the Sinnis Blade front wheel, the 21-inch direct swap, really easy, really simple, but just really hard to find, source and get hold of. I did pay about 120 quid brand new for it. Then I had to find a tyre plus inner tube, and then on the rear tyre I ended up actually getting on the stock 17s, just because I'm quite short and a Sinnis Blade rear wheel again was extra cost, and I've been trying to do it as cheap as I can because as I say, it's a budget bike, so you know. Then after that, what should I say? Well, I ended up getting some red paint because I thought, you know what, white was a bit boring because standard it was a white bike. The stickers were all basically buggered on it. I then painted it a nice red. I bent all the levers and stuff back because the young lad who had it before me had totally dragged it through a field with supermoto wheels on and just abused it. The other mod that I did do was actually go with handlebar risers and a taper bar. Now this one for me is one of the best mods that you can do. The standard handlebars are really low, so when they're really low you actually, you know, when you stand up you're still hunched over, and that's not very good if you're off-roading. Raising them up, it's more comfortable, the bars are higher, lots more control. Really, out of all the mods, I really can't stress enough how much that changes things. It's a godsend. Then with the handlebars, I changed my control units. They're little simple, basically tiny and dinky, just if I drop the bike, then one, they're not expensive, and two, they're just hidden and tucked out of the way. And honestly, that actually has helped in some tricky situations where they're small, compact and just out of the way, nice and neat. The other thing I took off was the rear pillion handlebars. I've actually heard, and to be quite honest, they are quite flimsy, and the more you yank on it, then yeah. On the right hand side of the bike there is a little gap where you can grab onto the frame itself, so I didn't really feel the need for them. Also, I decided to put my rear indicators nice and neat, tucked away, so again, if I drop the bike, it's not something I'm then illegal to go on the road with. The front indicators, I put them up high, basically where they were. The actual hand guards as well, I had them off of my old bike. They've taken a bit of abuse and a bit of battering, so I've actually done a wood screw into the plastic, so yeah, that's going to hold it there, and it's really good. The actual front brake levers, they're stock, but I bent them in. The hand guards aren't really there to stop my hand getting smashed by a tree. I mean, it helps, but really what I did it for was if I drop the bike, I'm not snapping levers, and trust me, you do not want to snap a lever and basically not be able to ride when you're miles away from home in the woodlands where no one's gonna come and save you. So yeah, definitely had to change that one. I've got the front mud guard off a good friend, Lloyd. Thank you for that, mate, seriously. He liked my build when I was first doing it, and he actually sent it to me for free, so he was a top star for that. It's a Sinnis Blade front mud guard that goes with a 21-inch. It's a replica of an old school like 2003 KTM, and yeah, it really does help just having that extra bit of mud guard, because I rode through a swamp and yeah, the water kept coming up in my face, and yeah, not really the greatest of feelings of swamp marsh in your face. Other things that I did do, I changed the throttle into a sort of like pit bike one. It's a quarter turn throttle now. Nice red, just matched the bike. Changed the grips again, matched the bike. It just basically throttle and grips came together. So yeah, that was a good little mod change. Other things I've done is the gearing. So on the front sprocket, instead of being a standard 15 tooth, I've now dropped it down to a 14 tooth. I am tempted maybe to drop it down even one more to a 13, but I'm in an R with that. As a result, I did get a heavy duty DID chain. That was not actually that expensive. It was pretty good. Definitely something that needed doing on the bike anyway, so I was quite pleased with that. As for the engine, I've kept it stock. Basically, I mean, I've got a full bike license, but when I bought the bike, it was a case of I wanted to try green laning, so I didn't want to start doing things like adding a 150 kit and all this, that and the other, because if I did that, then, and I didn't like green laning, then selling the bike would make it really difficult, because yeah, you're on a license of 125. So that's why I bought a bike that was learner legal and sort of learner friendly, really, because if I didn't like green laning or just I got bored with it or anything like that, then I would just sell it by tomorrow. I also actually had an issue with the battery, which comes into weight reduction actually. So anything that didn't particularly need to be on the bike, it's gone. So as I say, the rear bars are gone. I've cut down the rear tail mudguard as well, that's gone. Chain guards out of the way, kickstand sensors out of the way, hand controls again, made it lighter even more. Anywhere that I can sort of reduce weight has been practically done on the bike. The battery actually died on me, left me stranded after I jet washed the bike. And yeah, so when I got a replacement battery, it ended up being slightly smaller. It's less amp hours, but at the same time, once this thing's warmed up, it starts up the first button. And you know, it's really easy to bump anyway, so I thought, you know what, I'll just get a smaller battery. And to be honest, that was like a good 1.5 kilos off the bike. Really good mod to do if like you're trying to take some weight off. Other thing as well was just the seat. I saw them, thought, hey, that looked quite cool and would look good on my bike, and I love it. That was about 12 quid off of eBay. I recommend massively that you have an electric stapler, or if not, wrap your hands up with a staple, like a staple gun, because I got blistered to buggery and it really hurt. What else can I say, really? Yeah, so I mean, I changed the clutch cable as well, but I need to stock. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Future plans though, I wouldn't mind getting the KTM front headlight. They're not that expensive. Reason being is it's got the KTM sort of front fender anyway, so yeah, and I don't really like the front headlight on these, they're a bit naff. And I don't know, it's got this little sort of wannabe wasp with one eye, so yeah, Cyclops wasp, that's it. But yeah, so I just don't overly like it, to be honest. And the other thing that I was thinking of, even though it's a full depth S3 system on this bike, that rear exhaust is actually quite heavy, so I'd probably swap that out in the future. Again, just cheap eBay stuff, because it's just a bike that I abuse. It's not my daily, so yeah. Other things that I might come up with, a graphics kit. I really want to get it printed. I've done one, I've made one. I used to do graphic design and stuff, so yeah. I have made one. It's sort of a Day of the Dead theme and stuff like that. But again, I dropped this bike in the woods and everything. It's getting a bit tatty, but I might do it up in the future. I'm not sure yet. I'm umming and ahhing as to what I'm going to do with it. If you've made it so far to the video, then seriously, thank you. Please give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down or whatever you want to do. But it would really help me out if you could like it, subscribe, all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, till then, ride it out.